God, this thing's.
With the spin.
I got a twirly chair now. I got a new setup. I got a twirly chair.
Nice work. And people that's brushing. See, that's
oh, I'm still here. Got
to bring that back, dude.
This is a real game of unfuckable chicken that I'm playing with Rachel, where she won't tell me that it looks bad, and so I won't trim this beard. And that's
a solid bit. Unfuckable chicken. That's a solid.
Well, out of context, you don't want to just say that out at the supermarket.
Yeah, there's no such thing. Have you ever seen an unfuckable chicken? Just lose the crowd immediately.
Me and the missus were caught up in a real battle of unfuckable chicken right now. But I've got full Uncle. This is almost getting to Uncle Pecos length.
Yeah, it's impressive.
So I'm about to be pulling out cat whiskers, singing Crambone.
Yeah, you're gonna start prospecting.
Hey girl.
Hey girl.
Hey girl AMs. Hey, you got a pizza parlor cup?
It is. It is. They got a bunch in the house. It's been my
man.
But my
those are the cup
holder of choice.
You get a glass of Pepsi like that when you're out to eat with the family. You're like, oh, this is my scotch on the rocks for a 9-year-old.
Oh my God. Like root beer in one of those at a pizza place. Just like, oh yeah. Just make the pain go away. Sugar and caffeine.
Drink root beer and talk about your second divorce.
Yeah.
I don't even drink pop anymore. And then I was picking up a pizza and it came with a free 2-liter of pop, but I was looking at the camera, I'm like, well, root beer. And now I just got root beer. And like, I don't know what to do with it. Like, I don't know how to am I going to just sit and have a root beer one of these days? I mean, probably.
Yeah. I mean, sometimes I mean, that's how twisted I am. I feel like having a carbonated, corn syrup laden soft drink is way more scumbaggy to me than like 4 beers, like way more for some reason. It just feels kinda,
like I agree with that, except I would do a root beer taste test.
Yes, without a doubt.
Of all that crap that you can drink, but root beer, I could see like getting into craft root beer brewing.
Do you know Ken Reed at all? Boston guy?
I just did his show 2 days ago.
The TV Guide one?
The TV Guide one, yeah.
Yep. Well, he started a thread about like, what's your favorite root beer? And people would shout out all these arcane ones, and he'd be like, bit of a sweeter finish than I like. And I was like, oh, let me do like the Braunger homeland, Sioux City, Iowa, Sioux City sarsaparilla. So I threw that out there, and he's like a little too minty for my taste. And I was like, what? Like I can't tell one from the other. I don't know. And he was like defining how sarsaparilla is actually different than root beer. I thought it was just
sarsaparilla's not. No, buddy.
Really?
Root beer, you're gonna anger some people if you got strong root beer opinions.
I'm sure there's someone watching this that's furious right now. But what is the difference between sarsaparilla and root beer then?
I don't know. But there's something that they're not the same thing.
Okay.
I know they're not the same. I could not articulate why. But like you go up to somebody who's a Barks fan and try and pour him a glass of mug. Oh, yeah. I slap you across the face.
Off the table. Them's fighting words. Is sarsaparilla made from chaw juice from an old toothless cowboy saloon owner?
It's made from the sweat they squeeze out of saddlebags. That's where
it's cowboy butt sweat with just a scoop of brown sugar in every.
That's what a great old time. This ain't nothing but saddle sweat. Like the kind of old timey. How much fun just writing a period piece where like you're just in charge of the insults of the time.
I would two things. One, I would love to see a Western where they actively talked about how bad things smelled all the time and how dirty and greasy everyone was, like they're like self-aware.
Yeah.
And two, I don't know if I've talked about this theory, but did you see the Magnificent Seven remake with Denzel Washington? like Chris Pratt, and it's terrible. But like, of course, I've seen it twice. But it's
just to make sure.
Just to make sure. Because it's fun. It's like if it's on a plane, like fuck it. Okay, this will kill 2 hours. You know, this is fun. But there, you know who Matt Bomer is, the actor.
No.
God, he was in. Did you see The Nice Guys?
Yes.
Remember that incredibly handsome assassin John Boy that showed up in a like.
I'll remember it, but yeah, go on.
He's an insanely attractive man. Like he's bananas good looking. And there's a scene in The Magnificent Seven where, you know, the villain is at the front of the church and is like, you're going to sell me your homesteads. And that's all there is to it. You know, like, we can't make a living. I don't care. He's got his gang of thugs. You know, he's just trying to buy up the house so the railroad can go through or whatever. So this guy stands up in church and he's well shaven and he's far too good looking for the Old West. And like, he's like, well, we won't stand for this. And his lovely wife's with him. And of course they shoot him right there in the church.
Sure.
And my theory is they put together the Magnificent Seven to get this guy out of town because he killed the most handsome man in town. Like they didn't have a lot going for them. Everything's fucked up. Everything's dirty. Most guys have like no teeth. This guy's teeth are well lined and beautiful. He wears fitted shirts in the Old West. No cowboy hat to show off his lustrous hair.
You killed Beautiful Lou.
See? Tell me that's not beautiful. Lou.
Oh, look at that.
They murdered that guy. Like if they killed that guy, that'd be like your mascot. Be like, man, you see him? I'm not. I never had anything but wanting for the lay-ins with a woman, but he gets a stirring in my groin. I'll be honest with you.
You killed Sunshine on a Cloudy Day. That's his Indian name. That's the name they gave him. It might be used later on in the soul music, but that's the Indian given name is Sunshine on a Cloudy Day.
Drunk guys keep asking him for a kiss and pretending they were kidding. Come on, just play one on me. Come on.
I just need to slow dance with something beautiful.
Ain't but much prettiness left in this world. And it's you, Lou. It's you.
To think about, like you say, the smell of the Old West. And that, first off, everything was about the railroads. You'd think you'd see more trains.
Yeah.
In the West.
Yes.
You go by a train, there's like 4 train tracks.
Well, and how bad?
I'll put money on that. There's only 4 train tracks in the West.
That's all there is in the country. And how bad did you fuck up in placement of your town that the train has to go right the hell through it? Like there's no other way. It's got to go. It's going to go right through the city hall, through Old Clem's Saloon. It's got. I mean,
I get that it's a benefit to have a train stop to your town, but what it like? Because they started the tracks states away, and they're like, we're going.
You could go around. You could veer.
We're heading this way.
Yeah.
At the same time they're starting train tracks, somebody's building the first cabin, and they're like, again, a game of chicken. Like, let's see where we're at in 3 years.
I want the train guy and his nemesis, the town guy, who's building all the time. Just like, Tom, where did I tell you? Not in the gully. Oh, you said not in the. Oh, no, I built the whole town. It's all done. 10,000 people live there.
What about a bridge?
Is there somewhere else your train can go? No. I've told you. The train guy's just pulling his hair out.
That and all the smells of the Old West you never think about. But and also that one of the large exports of an Old West town was ladies of the evening.
Yep.
That have to and then they only had baths too. I don't know. I took a bath the other day. I don't know how you get clean in the bath.
No, you don't. It's a lie. You're sitting in your own filth.
Yeah, you're just making broth.
But you still have a sheen of your especially
you're making broth. That's all you're doing. You're making soup.
You turned your Old West dirt into mud. That's all you did.
Yeah.
That's all you did. You didn't clean off. I like the fact that the brothel is just like the post office. It's just there. You know, there's no one in town that's dumb enough to be like, we can't have that in our town. I have kids. Just like wave at the horse, son.
You want to go make smelly? You want to go make a smelly seesaw in this bag of old hay?
Do you want, do you want-
You want to go bang on this bag of hay? That's what they slept on, just bags of hay.
yeah. Oh,
This needs to be for Hey Girl nights. This is not a Hey Girl AMs
but
discussion.
you also you don't just get a drink. You got to get a roll in the hay. You have like if you were just a cowboy and you're like, I'm just gonna have a couple shots, they'd be like, what? No, go upstairs with the one girl in town. Go.
God, the athleticism
It's
of
amazing.
that woman.
Yeah, really impressive.
Okay. Oh, another stinky creep. Here we go. I was playing Red Dead Redemption,
Sure.
like that game. And it is like, once I realized, like, no, you have to really get in the mindset of the Old West, because you go from like Grand Theft Auto and all these games, and it's fast and it's fight and it's shoot. Now this one was like, I literally just have to ride my horse across 3 counties, and maybe I shoot at a rabbit once in a while. Like in a game where it's like, oh, you sure you want to take a nap? Maybe. I'm like, I think I do. I think in the game and physically.
You take naps in that game?
You have to take naps.
Wow. Well, then what do you do while your guy's napping?
It's just that the time goes by, and then all of a sudden it's nighttime or it's daytime.
Oh, okay.
But then sometimes there's bounty hunters, and then all of a sudden I suck at video games so bad, and I don't know why I play them, because it's supposed to be for joy and for release, and then at the end of it, I'm more angry with the world that's not even real.
Right.
But it's interesting for them to be like, oh yeah, we're on a video game? Well, you're a Wild West guy in the midst of all like future robot wars. They're like, here's your 6-shooter. Better stop and oil it, or else it won't work real well.
Might jam, and someone will shoot you in the shoulder accidentally when they're aiming at a deer. Yeah.
Are you still in the haunted house?
My cousin who like writes video games, he made me play that one where you're like running with your kid and zombies are chasing you. At least that's how it starts. I got eaten, and so did my kid. Like we got out of the house and didn't make it into the van or something. But it's like,
oh, there's some of them. I'm going to get into them. Yeah.
The opening was so long where you're just in the house with your kid, and there's just like, you'd hear explosions in the distance and shit. And you hear people screaming, and you're like, what's going on?
Was it scary?
Yeah. Like people are running down the street. It's that thing where it's like gradually building. And all of a sudden zombies, and they're coming through your window, and you're like, your guy picks your 8-year-old up or something, and he's crying, and you run out the door, and you're running, and like it's like left, right, left. You know, it was like that same anxiety trigger from like Dragon's Lair. Remember that? Where it was just like you go where the thing flat, you're a knight, and it's cartoon.
Vaguely.
Yeah, it's that same thing where it's like if you go one wrong way, then you did a dragon bite your head off, or like, you know. There's a game now. It's a Friday the 13th game, but you can play as one of the people at the camp, or you could just play as Jason too. Oh, that's cool.
All right. You know what? Video games, good job. I like what you're doing. You're doing nice things. Speaking of scary things, as it being Halloween, are you still in a haunted house?
No, we left the haunted house on Monday morning, and look, very nice ghosts. I told you the only thing they did was, kind of move Rose a little bit when she was screaming.
They just kept opening the oven when I was trying to make a quiche. Just real shitty. Just kind of
guys,
just jerks. They're just jerks.
Stop. The souffle collapsed. That's not scary. That's just mean. But it's like, I wouldn't recommend. I mean, it was interesting living in a house that old, but like, I mean, by the end of the week, I'm like, my back is fucking killing me, because everything is low, and the stairs are like super high, and the floors are uneven. So you're just like building up all this tension in your back slowly as you move around. And I'm carrying this kid.
It was built when people didn't have nutrition to gain a height past 5'7".
That's exactly right.
It's like when they put the soldiers from North Korea at the border with the soldiers of South Korea, and you could see the malnourishment in North Korea because they're all 6 inches shorter than everybody from South Korea.
Dana Gould told me that Roger Daltrey evidently told him that like the reason why he's so small, so Roger Daltrey is just super tiny and short arms and legs, is because war rationing, like World War II rationing. When he was
really?
yeah, Like it's just like they had after the war, they had like, well, here's some shit in a can.
Is that the trick with all those rockers like Robert Plant and everybody? Like it always looked like they had huge cranks in their jeans, but it turns out they were all just 4'11".
They're tiny men with regular dongs.
He's just like he's got a huge hog because he's wearing kids' pants.
Anyone schlong looks porn size when you're wearing Oshkosh bagosh.
Sitting there hanging butter cookies off the thing.
Now I'm thinking how funny a Led Zeppelin concert must have been to certain people. Just a tiny prancing man.
The stage is far enough away so they could never tell that they were all real small.
Like, is he really that fucking tiny?
It's a 3/4 scale Les Paul that Jimmy Page is playing, so he just looks regular size.
He's got a kid's electric guitar.
We need to let the viewers know this week that we're not raising money for a charity this week. We got a special surprise.
Yes.
And we are gathering up money for a Kickstarter to relaunch. Is it relaunch?
I think. Our guest will explain.
Yes. But. Yeah, our guest will explain, but it's going to the relaunch of Weekly World News. Yes.
I mean, it's the kind of news I want again. I'm tired of the fucking news these days.
It's the news you need right now.
It's the news
we will get to that.
Yes.
We'll get to that shortly, but I want to let everybody know that's where the funds will be going to this week.
Mm-hmm. Because we thought it a worthy cause. We've done stuff for a lot of philanthropic things. Once was like to save a theater. I think this is a worthy cause. It's not a charity.
It's to save our minds.
To save our minds, and it's an investment in a company and a business and our minds. So yeah,
because we got that we got some spooky stuff to talk about there. You're out of the haunted house. Were you out of the haunted house prematurely because of the off camber stairs? And
no, we stayed the whole time. We had a bunch of people over for like a distance meetup, and the backyard was huge, and we had like a fire pit on Saturday night. That was awesome. And the neighborhood's like really cool and spooky, and great to just walk around with a stroller and a coffee. And I don't regret doing it, but it is one of those things. It's certainly one of those life experiences. Like, did that, don't need to do it again.
Yeah.
Anything spooky happening with you?
No, it's been pretty mundane given getting into it. What have we been watching? Did we watched Edward Scissorhands, I'm trying to think of what I watched since we spoke with Eliza.
Mm-hmm.
Did I watch House on the Haunted Hill? Did we talk about that one last week? No, but the original Vincent
the original.
Price. Yeah.
Right on.
Where it was just you gotta like give a lot of rope to those older movies because they were the ones like forming the genre and everything. But man, it was dumb. Yeah. It's real dumb.
The one I want to see, I forget if it's called Black Sabbath or Black Mass, like when my dad was a kid. And I remember I was such I've always been a horror, spooky fan. But I remember like my dad was like, I was talking about one scenes and shit that stuck with me. And my dad was like, oh, that movie. And he'd mentioned, and I watched this thing, like this opening scene, these guys, they're all going to kill this witch. And she's like a real witch. And it's like, in the olden days. And they take the movie is about her spirit coming back to like kill their ancestors, all these people, because she placed a curse in the town. But like in the opening scene, they take a big iron mask with spikes on the inside, put it on her face, and take a hammer and just boom. And my dad told me that when I was a kid, and I was like, oh, like it's a thing where you don't expect your dad to say something that crazy. Like I thought he'd say something like, oh, when Creature of Black Lagoon almost grabbed that lady's ankle, it was almost like, Dad, you ever been in a fight? Yeah, took down 7 guys with a buck knife in a bar once when I was, wait, what? Jesus. Surf time. So over the top. And that's like an old one that's supposed to be great, but
you're going to have that moment with your daughter where you're going to say something that you think she's old enough to get. Because I can only imagine, like, you realize, like, I gotta stop. You want to talk to a child like a young adult and get them on a level, but then you're gonna say the one thing that's like too much.
Yeah. Well, already my nephew Connor, my sister-in-law has been coming over every Thursday. Thank you, Ashley, to watch the kid, so I can do this and I can do my podcast earlier in the day. But Connor I've told you, he's like 100 percentile. He's like as big as a child can possibly be for his age. Like he looks, as she puts it, it's like he's 2, but she's like, but people think he's a dumb 5-year-old. So he's 2, but he's still, just still making words. And he's like,
what a thing to have to answer.
He's like a Roger Daltrey height, but like, and big, but like evidently he learned something from my mom-in-law where she put him to bed for his nap and he just went, what the fuck? So like, that's been the thing we've been laughing. Anytime it's something he's not into, anytime it's like, he doesn't get another snack, he just says, what the fuck? And it's like, he's a tiny old man. And it's a thing where she wants to be like, don't say that, but it's hilarious every single time. Because that's, I mean, this is the year, what the fuck? I mean, we say it every single day, on the hour.
But that's why I wouldn't be a parent. I would only encourage a child to be my comedic muse and would not do any of the things you're supposed to do to raise a decent member of society.
Yeah. You would literally have Miller Time and the Boss.
Yeah. I would wind up creating some sort of Andy Milonakis monster by just feeding them lines to be a jerk to people. And then that's the result. From
really arcane stuff you liked,
Yeah.
The kids do it. Tommy Davidson, what's up with you? I got time, Fred.
Up to date, Fred.
I got time. Dylan in Philly, everybody. Great comedy special.
Oh, dude, that was Tegan and I would just do those bits to each other.
I still like.
Well, 2 little white kids doing black stand-up comedy bits to each other where you didn't know some of the stuff and you weren't even supposed to say.
And you don't know how racist you sound doing that voice.
Well, now I do.
When you're a kid, though, you have no idea.
Oh, man. I'm excited about our guest this week.
Yeah, I mean, I will say a lot of times, or more often than not, we have a comedian and or a friend we have on. This guy is not a comedian and we don't really know him, but we hit it off and during the sound check and everything. But yeah, I'm psyched that he wanted to come on, to kind of push it along and take the famous Weekly World News, to its next era. Yeah.
And this era deserves a Weekly World News. So let's welcome our guest editor of Weekly World News, Greg DAlessandro.
Welcome, Greg.
Yes. Yeah. Fat boy rides again.
Back again. There he is.
He lives.
Lives.
All right, Greg. We start every interview with a hey girl. So hey girl.
Hey girl. Yep.
Oh, what, you got a shot of root beer there?
Oh no, it's sarsaparilla. Yeah. Sarsaparilla.
Minty.
He knows the difference.
Yeah, it was invented in South Korea out in this brothel outside.
Most best things are invented in South Korean brothels.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
True.
Although I did, when I was in South Korea doing comedy, and we walked through an area of town that had all the brothels, and it was, I mean, we were just, they were showing me the part of the town.
Was that the year I was there with you, or was that another one?
I don't remember what year it was, because I've been there about 3 or 4 times.
Right. Anyway,
but it was like the week after Fleet Week or whatever they had there. So these ladies were exhausted, and they just saw us 3 schleps walking through, and the doors just shut as we walked down the block. Like, we're tired. You don't look like you have enough money for us to do what we do.
Now, keep moving.
Where are you coming to us from, Greg?
I'm coming from the great state of New Jersey at the moment.
Right on.
Oh, okay.
Bunker, yeah.
There you go. Okay, you guys are on the East Coast then. You guys can enjoy it.
We're kind of both West Coast, East Coast. We got bunkers in a few different places,
I like that.
We got to stay away. There's a lot of government people looking for, for us. So we got a lot of information that people are trying to hide,
It's true. Right on.
Well, I mean, I don't know if it helps having the T-shirt up with the blinds open in the back.
Yeah, I know.
Trying to keep it secret.
Well, that's my big attempt. Keep it secret. Yeah.
Here's the thing: you got to stay under the radar.
Under the radar. Yeah, exactly.
And promotion in other areas. It's a tightrope, man.
Hopefully, they can't see this hat from outside.
Turn the hat around when we go outside. Great. Yeah. I mean, I was always delighted to see a new Weekly World News on the checkout stands as a kid coming out. Now it's coming back. It's coming back in a big way. What's the plan? Do you have any like exposés you can clue us in on, or is it big surprise when it comes out, or anything you want to hint at?
Well, I mean, first of all, it was started in 1979, long time ago. Yeah, it was part of the National Enquirer. So they went to a color press. And then they had these black and white presses left over. So they came up with this idea of reporting on these real, true, bizarre stories. And then it kind of took off from there, and it had a really good, great run. And then it went out of print in 2007. Yeah. It was anything. And it was sold and went on. And it was completely online for a while, and then kind of went dormant in 2015. But now I've been writing for it for a long time. I've written probably like 3,000 or 4,000 of these different articles. Wow. And so now we decided that we want to revive it. The time, as you guys are saying, the time is right to bring back, the world is ready for Weekly World News. Some truth seekers that really want to see the real news, Yeah. Well, we've had real news, and then the fake news, and now we're back to Weekly World News.
Yeah. And I always feel like Weekly World News is case in point, truth is stranger than fiction. It always has been. It's always that thing where like these really fantastical stories with actual people, testifying, to them. And I feel like things like that are like, like a salve right now for all of us. It's like let me read about Bat Boy. Let me read about the woman who dated Bigfoot and is pregnant with his child. Like I don't want to hear about
where is that kid, by the way,
or whatever,
What's the Bat Boy? The kid or the baby?
The kid, the woman who was pregnant with Bigfoot's baby.
Oh,
he's got to qualify for a lot of student loans, like a lot of grants.
That is quite diverse
bloodline.
That's right. Well, we have a Bigfoot hooker is a big story coming back. I don't know if you guys remember her. She was working up in Montana for a long time, and then she went to DC, and she actually did very well in DC. Had Bigfoot hooker, and she's writing a book.
Is she,
Harry Hooker does. You see,
I didn't know that story. Is she an actual like a Bigfoot?
Yeah, she's 7 foot tall. Yeah, Harry. Wow. Yeah.
Well, if she's a hooker, like, do you have to go to the woods, or is she just in the town?
No, she's
like, hey boys.
Yeah. She you can actually drive up. She's a kind of a street. She was, but now she's got all these secrets on a lot of politicians. So, right? So now she's gone underground a little bit.
DC, there's not a lot of wooded areas. I mean, if you want to go to Virginia or maybe, further into Maryland, sure. But DC itself is a very concrete city. You're going to see Bigfoot hooker out there, and then people are going to know, oh, she's spilling the beans. She's going to cut off her own business if she's spilling secrets on people. But in the woods, you go out in Montana in the woods, and you can keep it on down low. I have so many questions, Greg. I wanted to know.
Kyle, before you get into it, I just want to say one thing. I appreciate Greg's on here to even mention that there are big feet. Because like I grew up in Oregon, and there was a guy who testified and was on the news and stuff and talked about he got abducted by a family of them, and they kept him as a pet. And he was like a little man.
Oh yeah.
Okay. And because anytime people are like, "Oh, did you see Bigfoot?" And I'm always like, "Which one?"
Yeah.
It's
exactly right. That's exactly
all
right.
over the place.
All over.
Yeah. There's no like immortal one Bigfoot that has been around for hundreds and hundreds of years. So anyway,
no, not at all. There's a lot of them all over. Different names.
You got the skunk ape. You got the Florida skunk ape. You got the Michigan. Michigan
Sasquatch.
Man, Sasquatch.
It's Yeti. The Yeti.
Yeah, right. It's like how every region has its own Bruce Springsteen.
Yes,
like Michigan had Seeger, Indiana had Mellencamp.
That's right.
Bigfoot is also regionally named, but a similar genre of cryptid
with a large amount of followers. With
yeah.
I think Canada had Adams. Was it Brian Adams or Ryan Adams?
Canada had Brian Adams. Yes,
right.
And its own. And I think it's still Bigfoot up there, to be honest. I think more Native American, more Sasquatch is further north.
Right.
Yeah, that's great.
Greg, I wanted to ask, with the internet now, is it harder to like find stories to break because the internet kind of gets to stuff, and especially now that everybody's so conspiratorially minded?
Right.
Is it kind of undermining the effort, or is it like more inspiring because now there's these so many weird little nooks and crannies that you can explore?
Yeah, I think the internet has really helped a lot, because there are all these stories everywhere. Before we had to rely on stringers, people telling us about these different things. They saw someone found a 23-pound grasshopper or something, or there was a dolphin with human arms, and then we'd have to go out and do our investigative reports on that and really dig into it. But now it's coming from everywhere, especially with aliens, because aliens and UFOs are just everywhere, right?
The government admitted.
And it wasn't even treated as news or cool news. Like it kind of broke my heart because it just every media outlet is so constantly going on its own, badly made steam that it's exhausted, that it can't take a bit of what I think is pure magic.
Air Force military just going, we saw UFOs. Like, can you believe what Trump said? It's like, they're UFOs.
Right. And we've been reporting on Area 51 and aliens amongst us for years, so decades. And now we're proven with a lot of things, we're proven to be correct.
Yeah.
In our reporting, so.
I wanted to put a story past you, Greg, or a theory. Yeah. I don't know if you covered DB Cooper at all.
We did a little bit. Yeah. It's a very big mystery there for a while.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know what angle.
Well, Kyle, you should tell people who DB Cooper was. Right? We all know.
Right. I'll get into it. Yeah. DB Cooper was he basically hijacked a plane, demanded a ransom, and then allegedly parachuted out of the plane somewhere here in the Pacific Northwest.
Right.
And nobody got hurt. Everybody got away. And they found like maybe a couple bills or something that they think was from that ransom amount in the river, but they never hear it.
There he is. Yeah, there you go.
And they described him as just a calm guy on that flight. I forget where it took off from and then landed to get the money and then took off. He jumped out.
Yeah.
Nobody's found him. Here's my theory. The crew did it.
Oh,
the crew of the plane made up the whole story because they let all the passengers off. They're all like, no, he was wearing a suit with a tie, sunglasses. The crew all says, all right, we all agree he looks like this.
Huh.
And then he jumped because everybody that was on the flight was allowed to leave. All the passengers were allowed to leave when they landed to pick up the ransom. So the passengers never remember seeing somebody that looked like that.
Oh.
Was
he ever on the plane?
He might not even be a real guy. He handed a note to one of the flight attendants saying, I have a bomb. Make sure I get this much money. Land here and get this much money. So the people on the passengers never knew that this was happening and got released. So they have no description of him. I think it was the crew coming up with the whole thing. They split the cash.
Wow.
They open the door, throw a parachute out. Throw a couple bills out. That's where I'm at with it.
And then, that's a very good theory. Yeah, that's I had not heard that one.
I don't know if you're hiring writers.
Yeah, we are hiring writers. Yeah.
Because
matter of fact, we just had a comedian we just hired, Tammy Pescatelli.
Oh,
Tammy,
yeah.
Chicago Comedy Festival with her.
Yeah, she's been writing a little column for us, News from Abroad, every Tuesday.
Oh, right on.
Yeah. Cool. She's written about the Jersey Devil and the new Lake Erie Monster.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, cool.
Two-time, right?
Is she Jersey Devil?
Because I know she's from the East Coast. Does she do kind of mostly kind of regional news?
Yeah. She knows a lot about the kind of creatures around the Cleveland, Lake Erie area.
Right on.
So she's got that little area covered.
And what is it's the Lake Erie Monster?
Lake Erie monster, yes. Sort of like the Loch Ness monster. They call Lake Erie monster Bessie. And some people think it's related, maybe a twin or a sister or a child, but we're not really sure yet, But the Lake Erie monster gets around.
I got to talk to my mom-in-law because she's from Lake Erie. She's from like a family of 12.
Oh, she knows about the Lake Erie monster.
Bessie.
Oh,
for sure. Okay.
Yeah, Bessie. A lot of people seen it. Yeah.
You got Champy up there too. You got the Lake Champlain.
Champy
creature. Yeah, right.
Greg, what's got you excited right now? What tip has come in that's really got you twisted up?
Or even a news thread you've had for a while in continuing issues?
Well, there's two things. One is Manigator. I don't know if you know this half alligator, half man. That was discovered a long time ago in Louisiana swamp. Wow. And so these guys that were out on doing some fishing, they found this. They pull in, they get this guy that's like a half man, half alligator. So they called the sheriff, and then they found out that there was a whole shed of like 200 or 300 manigator eggs. All these eggs, this genetic experiment that was going on there, all these eggs of half man, half alligator, sitting around there. So we thought they were all destroyed, all these eggs, but it turns out that some of these eggs were still survived. And now we got about 5 to 10, maybe more manigators around the south over there. So that's what we're looking into that,
Which half is which on a manigator?
The top is the human and the bottom is the alligator.
Ooh, and so it's like a merman, but reptile merman, not fish.
That's exactly right. Yeah.
Okay.
And this one, we actually interviewed one, I think like in 1995 or something. And it was, he was kind of like a hard drinking kind of guy. He did a lot of drinking. He was kind of had a Bill Murray vibe to him.
Wouldn't you be though?
Yeah. I mean, if you're like that and you're in the swamps all the time.
You got the tail of the alligator, but not the jaws. You're just a guy.
Right.
From the top half.
Yeah.
And maybe
frustrating frustrating than a woman. Yeah. Right?
What do you do? Who you meet? Yeah. Are you attracted to alligators? Are you attracted to ladies? Where's the libido in the manigator?
Right.
Also, maybe the drinking, you're sitting there like swallowing swamp water all day anyway. So maybe the drinking doesn't even do anything.
Right.
I think anybody or anything that like exists and lives in the swarthy deep, there's always an element of heavy alcohol use, from your sailors to your pirates, I'm sure, to your manigators, and I'm sure mermen put them back. Poseidon probably did, like all of that. It just goes with the territory. You don't have any teetotalers in the sea, I think.
No, not at all. No. So, I mean, but we're pretty, excited about getting to the bottom of this, because there's always like some mysterious things going on with the government being involved.
Yeah, I want to know, like,
pressing as these stories, like we report on stories no one does.
Yeah, who did that? You mentioned it, it was a biological experiment. Like who did that? Who kind of crossed the DNA and
that's what we are investigating now. That's what I'm excited about. And the thing is that some people think, since we're like they think that there's some humorous or satire about us. They think that this isn't real, but it's real. And then I think what's happening is the government is trying to make you think that it's a joke to hide the truth. You know what I'm saying?
Disinformation campaign.
Which is
disinformation, right?
Which is genius in this day and age, because you really can't hide anything forever. Not now, not anymore. You know what I mean? Like people they will hack your stuff, whatever. The truth will out eventually. So what a lot of groups have done, specifically this administration, is like, don't believe your own eyes and ears. Like Orwell's 1984, where it's kind of like you put it right in front of him and be like, he's ripping you off. And they're like, no, that's my buddy. And it's like, okay, if you're not going to think in your best interests, then I don't know what to tell you. So their best, modus operandi with you would just be like, let him print it.
Let him print it, and then we'll just, discredit it, say it's like, it's just silly or, nonsense. And then, then it turns out to be true,
Right on.
And then you got a manigator in your house drinking, emptying your liquor cabinet. And now nobody's going to believe you. You said it wasn't real. And now you got to try and tell the sheriff, and they're like, okay.
Right, exactly. Like we did a story recently too about, and Matt was talking about ghosts in the house. I mean, we found out that there are some real estate agents working with ghosts trying to find houses for them to go into. You know, they get tired of a house and they want to move out. They want to go to another house, you know. So that's, people don't know about that either, that there are actually real estate agents working with ghosts to find you have to find the right match. Because, you know, if some family moves in, you might not work.
Well, what's the financial motivation for the real estate agent then? Because they're not getting, I mean, I can't see a ghost. What's the percentage that they're getting? Or do they then get to sell a house going, you like a haunted house? I got a haunted house. And that ups this curbside. The curb appeal. Maybe that's what they do is they get the ghost in. The family goes out. The price of the house goes down because they say it's haunted. And then they relocate the ghosts, and then maybe they buy the house, and then that's a bigger conspiracy theory, because then they're just trying to like get the property value low in a neighborhood so they could tear down these houses, put up a strip mall. This is the next. This is the 40. This is another iteration.
You get your Beetlejuice ghost. You know, you get your guy who's good at being horrifying. You know, where you're
right. Yeah. You can find your go-to ghost that you want to move in. You know, it's like,
yeah.
I always wonder, like, ghosts always haunt, like, they conveniently are always in an old house. Like, there's never like a ghost in an Applebee's, you know, there's never like a new construction. Right. And then the assistant manager of Olive Garden died suddenly. And then he's like, God, I'm stuck in Olive Garden for eternity.
By the friolator. I think that's to Greg's point, though. I think you basically, by his research, they can choose. And if you're a ghost, you would never choose a fucking Chili's. You know, you'd be like, no, I'm going to this weird castle. You know, even though I just died in 2020, you know, and I'm 32. Right. I'm not, I won't fit in, but I'll dirty myself up or whatnot. You know,
and there's a lot of ghosts that they don't report on a lot, but there are some ghosts in the city. In like apartments, you know, they're always in some house out in the woods, you know, out Long Island or wherever, right? But they are in the city. They're moving into 1-bedroom apartments too, studios.
That's why I was wondering, why are the ghosts adhering to the lease agreements of like, this is your apartment? If you're a ghost, then you can go through walls, but then you're going to not go through the neighbor's wall.
You know, that's another good point. We have to look into that, but that could be because there's competition among ghosts. You know, maybe there could be like a big, like that's a very desirable house, and that family looks like they would be a good family to work with in the house. You know, could
and I would argue that the ghosts are very ceremonial. You know, like they adhere to even architectural laws, even though they go through walls. Like there's that story in England where a guy was like walking at night, and a troop of Roman soldiers went by. But they looked like they were wading in water because the ground went up to their knees, and they were like, oh, what? And the townspeople like dug into the road and found an ancient Roman road under their road that they didn't know was there. So the centurions were actually walking on the road they knew. You know what I mean?
So they're superimposed on the reality that we're viewing.
Correct. Yes.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
I always wonder about I'm sorry. Go ahead, Greg.
No, go ahead.
I always just would like a ghost that would haunt a studio apartment, but then even the ghost is bummed out because, you know, if you're living in a studio apartment, your life isn't going great, and then like the ghost isn't even scary enough to be like the boo, and the guy's just already holding a toaster over his bathtub, and the ghost is actually, well, don't do that. You got so much to live for. Like,
I need someone to haunt. I don't know.
Yeah, and if it's just a guy playing, you know, Red Dawn Redemption or whatever.
It's like it's kind of.
I can't get his attention. You know,
floating stuff around him. He doesn't give a shit.
I said to Kyle last week, you know, because I was, as you heard, I rented a house that was built in the early 1800s, and I was saying like do the ghosts in this house understand what Airbnb is? You know, where they're like.
Right.
How many people are going to buy this place? Another guy bought it, and he's only here for 2 nights, and then he sold it, and then this guy comes in. You know, these guys are exhausted.
That's why I thought it was great, because then they could just do their greatest hits every week instead of having to come up with new bits.
Right.
Like you haunt somebody for 20 years. It's like being married, and all of a sudden you're like, well, we got to spice up this relationship.
That's
I
right.
can't just throw the sheet on and float down the stairs again. It's,
Like
that's a missionary position for a ghost. They don't.
Lady Catherine, I've seen you tear your own head off like 18 times. It doesn't even, get my heart rate up anymore. You got to.
They've heard the screams. They've heard the broken glass.
They know the moves.
They know the moves. Yeah. The bell's gonna ring, and they go.
So, Greg, I wanted what is the next move for Weekly World News in terms of, are you doing online and print? And what's kind of the MO for now, for the next level of it? Because it seems like you're keeping it really classic, which I dig. You still have the logo, you still have it black and white, you still have these really straightforward but fantastical stories,
right?
So anyway,
the idea is that we have a lot of people, a lot of fans of Weekly World News have always wanted it back in print. So it sounds it sounds like insane, but we want to go and get it back in print. Maybe start like once a month, and then get it back to every 2 weeks, and distribution, get it back into the stores. Now, we're not going to ignore that it's the 21st century. We'll still be online. We'll be on social media. Great. We're working on a podcast, and there are a lot of people that are interested in some TV or film things based on our characters. But we want right now, the Kickstarter is we have some really great writers, and we want to times are difficult for everybody, and we want to pay them more and get our graphics up going and our web person. So we're really supporting our writers and our graphics right now, and then get the thing back. The first step is getting it relaunched, fully, and then getting into print and moving forward from there. We want it to be, what it was, but better, sort of like bringing back an old brand,
That's what I dig about it. I dig that you're not just taking the brand and running with, it's a movie now, or it's a TV show now.
No.
You're still doing the old school newspaper man thing, which I love. I love the print. I love to hold it. And it's, you're keeping that, and then you're making it like, okay, this will be the new version.
And it, when I used to bring it, when I bring it to meetings, these old papers, I can't get them back. People they just want to hold on to it. They really like it, and people just like holding stuff. I don't know. So I guess we should print it. I don't know. It sounds crazy, but
you might even benefit from like the world of comic books, the way the old Creep Show and everything came from that, and then you could add the artistic element to it, but still like putting the stories in it. People still love comic books, and that's still just a physical medium.
Right. So it's sort of like I compare it to people have their music online, MP3s, and you're on Spotify, but you might also put an album out. Well, some people still like to hold the album and look at the liner note or whatever, So
we hang around.
Yeah, it's fun. It's a fun thing. So, and we got hard-hitting investigative reporting that people can count on, and we're the world's only reliable news. So.
Well, there you go.
Weekly. So, are we getting any follow-up stories? Are we checking in with Bat Boy? Is Bat Boy now a respectable young Batman?
Oh yeah. So Bat Boy, over the years, we've had 450 stories. Even had a book out called Going Mutant. Right now, we're generally an apolitical, non-political paper, but right now, Bat Boy, which we're just reporting on, he's running for president.
Wow!
And we got
this year.
Yeah, this year, and he's got big.
He's only got a couple weeks left.
I know. We're trying to get him on. Well, we're not trying. The campaign is trying to get him on the debate tonight.
Wow.
Well, I guess we got a couple hours left to see if that works out.
See, I
don't know.
Tonight is date night, and the lady and I are going to, going to go eat outside somewhere. But I don't know if you can get Bat Boy on. Maybe I might have to make date night tomorrow because
because he's right wing and left wing, and he's he's a mutant. He represents all of us. Sorry about that. Sorry about that.
That's great. That's right up my alley.
I love how in every photo he's surprised and shocked, and I think that's how so many of us are feeling. We need someone who can still, confront the issues and be like, "How are you jaded at this? It's what's going on."
Yeah. Well, that's what people say. You guys say it's the what the fuck year or what is it? Something like
there he is.
That's what it is. It's like what the fuck.
That is what that face is saying.
That's what he's saying.
what a great follow-up to find. Like, I want to see Bat Boy composed in a suit, presenting his arguments for, chief executive, because we only know him as this panic boy.
Right.
We got every week at the checkout stands with my folks getting groceries. I would be concerned for Bat Boy because he was always had a look of fear or panic.
Yeah, the FBI has always been. Yeah, the FBI has always been after him because he's found in this cave in West Virginia, and there's all this mystery about what was going on.
Yeah,
and again, it's just another thing that they're trying to hide.
West Virginia, is there a Mothman connection to Bat Boy?
Oh,
well, that's a good point. Some people have said that. Some people have said that there's a connection. And in West Virginia, there's a cave, a special. There we go. Yeah, Bat Boy.
Nice.
Special.
He got the suit on in that picture.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, that's because he's running for office right there.
I mean,
you got to get a new headshot. You got to give him a new press photos.
I know,
but
he can't respond to policy like this every time.
Yeah,
I know. Classics. He's a passionate guy.
Right. And the thing about him, he doesn't really speak. He just kind of, we have to have the campaign has a Bat Boy interpreter. He basically just kind of shrieks.
Okay.
He shrieks, but it's I don't know if you remember this movie Being There a long time ago.
Sure.
Yeah.
Muncie Gardner, I guess it's based on a book.
Yeah.
So he's kind of like that. He doesn't say a lot, but you understand where he's coming from,
Mm-hmm.
But everybody gets to put what they want. And I'm sure he's got the echolocation going for him, and that's impressive in any sort of human cryptid hybrid type.
That's
of creature.
very cool. That's very cool.
Be able to move around at night.
We know that a bunch of people have already voted for him.
Wow.
So we're hoping there's a groundswell in the next couple of weeks, maybe. Who knows?
I'm waiting for my absentee ballot, so I still got a chance for a write-in. And now that I know what my options are, I'm not excited about the current candidates.
I know. Well, that's
I think I don't necessarily like Bat Boy's chances.
That's
nice.
But
I think by doing this, he can feel out 2024. Why not?
Right. It's sort of like a Kanye West approach, And stick your toe in the water, and then I
feel like
people know you got a mind for it.
He's a supernatural type being of some kind. I think he's probably going to live longer than your typical human, and he's got a youthful energy. We still know him as Bat Boy.
Yeah, he'd be the youngest candidate and probably the healthiest candidate.
That's probably true.
Who's he got for VP?
He's got Bigfoot. Yeah. It was
not Lady Hooker Bigfoot, because if she has all the political secrets and she's getting in office with Bat Boy, that's an unstoppable team.
That's incredible.
That's right. That probably would be a better choice. But we thought he was. Well, we're just reporting on it. But
this has my vote because Bigfoot is gonna. He's gonna support the environment,
right?
The national parks.
Right.
There's not going to be any fracking. There's not going to be any drilling.
Yeah.
Unless he's Bigfoot in name only.
No.
Unless he's a bino.
I think he knows his roots.
This is a special Bigfoot. He's a really good Bigfoot. Last summer he tore his ACL in the woods.
Oh no.
And he had to go into rehab for a while. And then he came out, and then Bat Boy approached him about this. Yeah.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
It can happen to a Bigfoot too,
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. They're still
famous,
basically humanoid. They're stronger than us and bigger, but they have
Patterson Gimlin film. They say you could see a hernia in the.
Oh wow!
In the stride of the original Bigfoot footage, the old black and white, the Patterson Gimlin film from the '60s.
Really?
They say you can actually see a hernia. And that's how they know it's something. Somebody.
Oh well, look, we only got like a couple minutes left, but before we, I do want to say you have reached your goal already. Congratulations! But
thank you. Yeah,
we're telling donors to donate anyway because they're doing add-ons. So
you
still be a part of the team. You still be a part of the growth of the foundation.
Yeah, it's all going to the writers. We're trying to bring back a columnist. Yes. We have Ed Anger and Dear Dottie, vice columnists. Those are like add-ons. So
that's awesome.
We appreciate it. So we've had a good response, and we're excited to take the next step forward.
I'm psyched for you, man.
Yeah, I am excited. Where can viewers and fans get? You've got merch behind you.
Yeah, we got
the books for sale.
You got weeklyworldnews.com, and then it's pretty much all there. But we're also on Facebook. We have a big following on Facebook. You can see, and we have the merch in the store there, and Instagram and Twitter are just getting back going again. But
Right, yeah.
if you look at Facebook or the website, they're good places to go.
This is
Right on.
exciting. I am glad. This is a welcome addition to the what a stained 2020's been so far. This
Absolutely.
is a bit of hope.
We want to give a little relief, a little hope, and maybe some joy to some people.
Yes. Yes.
Right on.
Maybe
God.
if it's possible, right? Yeah.
Bat Boy 2020.
Hell yeah.
Right.
Cool.
Exactly.
Well, thanks for coming on, Greg. It was really
Hey,
awesome.
man, Kyle, it's a real pleasure and an honor, really, to be on with you guys. I really appreciate it.
Cool.
Thank you so much, Greg. Really
Thanks,
appreciate
brother.
it. Yeah.
Okay, we'll talk to you soon. Thank you.
Hell yeah. Man, that was
awesome.
That was Hey Girl.
Oh,
That
good.
was
That was
great.
great.
That was
Great. Yeah.
Thanks for coming on. I gotta jump because it's my turn with the baby. But
You got to jump. We have to do patrons though. I will do this.
Okay.
Let's from last week's National Center for Transgender Equality, Eliza's charity, P. Forrest, $20, Snip Ticker, $20, Slacker Joe, No Coin, Swayze Meteor, new patrons, Tom Lapata, Amy Booker, Chris N, Daniel Arellano. I don't know if it's Italian or of more of a Latin flavor for that one. Thank you so much, everybody.
Thanks
that
for
was
donating.
awesome.
All right. Boom. Thanks, gang.
I wanted to freeze on the arm thing.